Going on a road trip with my dog feels like prepping for the apocalypse. How do people have actual children?
Spilled my coffee, stubbed my toe, and broke a glass all in one fell swoop. Clumsy much?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes the nail salon insists on cash tips. Sometimes they don't care. Could they just never care? That would be really convenient for me.
I ate a burger, a real beef burger, for the first time in over 20 years, and it was so good.
What? Have such a good day. Hello and welcome to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to
just have that.
Yes.
Yes.
Heather and I have slightly different versions of that, apparently.
We like to
so we couldn't be in total cadence just now.
I thought we would be, though. I was like, oh man, this will be really cool if we can say the exact words. But
yeah, imagine if we had maybe planned beforehand. But you know what? That's not what the show is. This show is a free-for-all mishmash of fun,
hodgepodge,
love,
excitement,
celebrating
happiness.
in the fact that life is hard.
But it's also beautiful.
And it is. It is beautiful.
It's real beautiful and real weird at the same time. And we like to celebrate that, hopefully improving your days by giving you a little chuckle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let us know
if
we do that.
If not with us,
Either way,
and
whatever you want.
Yes, and like every show, it's just we'll just kind of throw some stuff at you, and the idea is that the community participation is a huge part of the show.
Huge. And
even though it's just Heather and I talking right now, you know who you are. Everybody who's in our Discord, everybody who emails us every week, all of our patrons who get extra behind the scenes stuff. This is the whole shebang.
It really is.
And we
it's
couldn't
the whole
do without
enchilada
you.
even. And this is
too.
the 50th episode, Sarah.
It is.
And I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh, we should have like some confetti or something. I'm disappointed in myself. I didn't bring some champagne. We do have some white wine.
We do.
So we will toast to the 50th episode. Although maybe we should be doing more of a party around the 52nd episode because that means we've done a full year.
A year.
But 50 is like, that's a pretty significant number. We've been doing this for almost a full calendar year, which is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Good on us and good on you for sticking with us.
And it sure has been fun. And
super fun.
During that time, Heather and I have shared a lot of this with you, but we've had tumultuous lives for one reason or another, whether it's work or relationships or moving. And that actually is like continuing. We're kind of in that right now. So we every once in a while we'll kind of be like, oh, man, this is get a little hard. And then we have to say, this is really fun, though.
It can be very exciting. And the thing is
it improves both of our weeks every week without fail. And we both know it. And so, this is therapeutic, and we hope that it brings you some joy as well.
We really do. And we have fantasies sometimes about like, oh, gosh, what if one day later in life, maybe in our 50s, we can get out of the fray and live on a big piece of property and just kind of like chill. Because all we want to do is chill.
With some goats.
With some goats, definitely.
Oh, God, I need some goats.
And oh man, I want a pet goat so badly. What would you name your pet goat?
I don't know. Maybe
Henry?
Bruno.
That's cute. I like that.
Henry.
But yeah, I mean, really,
I don't know. I mean, what's a goat named? It could be named anything.
I think our ultimate goal is like, we just want to chill. We just want to get through the day's slog and chill and, watch a movie and relax. I know that that's both Sarah and I's like ultimate goal, like every day. We always talk about it. Yeah. And I think this show, once we're kind of like set up and all the wires are good and we've written everything, it's like once we're in the moment, like right now, it becomes more fun and chill. And like, it's nice therapeutic thing.
It absolutely is. That said, there's just a lot of other stuff that has to happen to make sure that the show is recorded appropriately and edited appropriately and you all receive it appropriately. And, there's that.
It's a lot.
I think I've kind of mentioned this on a previous show, but I feel this way more and more. And it's something that I have to come to terms with for myself. And that is the fact that, like, I don't have a romantic partner right now. I have in the past. Probably probably will in the future. Fine, whatever. And I don't have one right now, and I don't have one now by design because I'm just like, you know what? Things got a little too much for me, and it's better to like, you always hear people being like, you got to get like comfortable with yourself, and then you can build something
100%.
with somebody, in all the right ways. And so I'm kind of in that situation. However, there are so many things that are hard because it's just me.
Oh yeah, taking out the garbage.
Well, sure. I mean, okay, that is not really that hard, but I know what you mean. Like, no one's ever gonna do that for me.
Nope.
Ever. I have to do it 100% of the time.
Yep.
When I go out of town, who's gonna watch my dog? I have to pay for somebody to watch him because there's nobody. Who's gonna watch my cat? Same thing. Or just sort of like, who's gonna power wash the yard? I don't know how to do that, but I need to do it, so I gotta hire somebody because there's nobody. And it's there are times where, again, ebb and flow of life. When I'm in the flow, where I'm like, I understand why people just marry people.
Yeah.
Just to like get things done.
For sure.
Just to have somebody to like, like offload some work onto, because life is really hard.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I think a lot of people do marry for that reason.
Yeah. And not that I'm doing that, right? But like, I kind of like, I don't fault people for sort of throwing in the towel and sometimes being like, I just gotta do this. I need help.
Yeah.
And it's not so much about like that Disneyland version of life, that we're all sort of spoon fed when we're younger. Like, you're just gonna find your soulmate and it's gonna be great.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, still looking, Mickey.
All right, you guys. So bonus topic today. We are not going to do a game. We are going to, this is actually, someone wrote in about this. I will mention his name and talk about that a little bit more later in the show. But the disappointment of when family and friends don't always support you in your ventures. So this is sort of related a little bit more to, he commented on liking the fact that we talk a lot about, sort of the trials and tribulations of working for yourself and being a freelancer.
Yeah.
It's sort of in relation to that, but it can kind of extend out further. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, so please stay tuned. $5 ballas.
Please do.
In the meantime, Sarah.
Yes.
How has your week been?
Man, okay. So week after week, I'm always sort of being like, I listened to this great podcast episode. You guys all have to listen to it. I don't know if anybody listens to the stuff that I listen to or not, but it was Fresh Air, which is not WWNYC. It is
what is that? It's
Philadelphia.
It is NPR, but it's
WHIY, right?
Something like that. I know there's a lot of W's in it. Actually, so it's NPR. It is WHYY, like why?
Yeah. Okay. So Fresh Air, hosted by Terry Gross. She's been doing it for 100 years. She has interviewed everybody under the sun. She's just a wonderful, beautiful human.
Lovely lady.
If when people say like, who would you have dinner with if you could pick anyone? Like, Terry Gross is top 5 for me.
Nice.
For sure. I love her. Anyway, so Fresh Air, which is her show, they do these sort of like best ofs every once in a while where it's something that they have run before. However, I had not heard her Bill Hader interview when it first
great.
ran.
Yeah.
And Bill Hader, if you're not familiar, was an SNL, Saturday Night Live comedian for many years, and now is the starring Guy on Barry, which is a great show.
And it's getting a lot of like good reviews.
Oh, it is.
Like people say it's like the perfect show.
It's so good.
It is really good.
And it's good in all the ways that a comedian, you think like, certain comedians, especially like, think of like the Saturday Night Live, hits, the people who are so good at like impersonations or just being silly or, variety of stuff. It doesn't always translate into a career after that.
No.
You might do some comedies. They might fall flat. They might do well. But it's sort of like, are you sort of just like that person? I mean, Bill Hader has definitely solidified himself as a very deep actor.
Oh, very much
in
so.
a drama. Like, it's not fun. Barry is not funny. I mean, there's some funny moments.
There's definitely funny moments.
But it's
more of a drama.
It's very much like it's kind of like hardcore.
It is.
Anyway, so I was listening to this interview that that Bill and Terry had, and it was so great because many people know Bill Hader most for Stefan.
Sure.
Which was his Weekend Update
character
like bit,
where
he was always telling you about the hottest new club, and the whole thing was that it was every club was weirder than the last, and it was so funny, and like the whole the lore of the whole thing is that he never knew what he was about to read, so he was reading the teleprompter cold, and that's why he was always covering his face because he was laughing because he was reading it cold.
Well, he says in that interview, or maybe it's another interview, but he does say, because he experiences a lot of anxiety. He's had panic attacks, but he puts his hands, it's like he can't help it, but it's like it helps him with his anxiety, putting his hands on his face.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you mentioned that because so this is sort of a funny thing. Yes, we've obviously listened to the same interview, and he was talking about not so much that character, because that was like, I mean, the most beloved character ever, but he said that, he was on SNL for, the better part of a decade. And for particularly the first, 5 years of that, he had panic attacks. Now, and it's funny because like as someone like I recognize that I have a lot of anxiety.
Oh yeah.
It comes out in weird ways. It rears its ugly head, every so often, but like panic attacks, the way that people describe it to me, I've never had that.
Yeah.
Cuz people always say I thought I was dying.
Oh yeah, and like their skin is burning. And
yeah, like I thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah, you get physical ailments. Yeah.
I've never had that. I've had like anxiety to the point where I'm like, I need to hide from the world.
Yeah.
But not a panic attack where I actually thought that I needed to go to the hospital.
Yeah, me neither.
So what Bill, our friend Bill, described was, he was kind of describing this to Terry. Like I know that, people thought I was being dramatic, whatever, and like I'm like lucky to be on SNL and whatever, but like it was bad. And she was like, yeah, you just like thought you'd forget your lines or you wouldn't, do the character well. And he was like, no, it wasn't even that. It was like, I thought maybe a piece of equipment would fall on me and kill me. I thought maybe somebody from the audience would rush the stage and kill me.
Like very dramatic, like this is not going to happen.
Unrealistic.
Dude. Yeah, very.
Stuff where
paranoia.
You're like, where you're like, I know this won't happen. It's sort of like, it's like when you're on a plane and you're like, okay, well, stats say I won't crash and die. I just won't.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going to happen. But it could.
But you still get anxious about it.
And then once you get that in your head, you're like, well, maybe I'll just be like, maybe this is the plane that goes down. Of, the like 30,000 planes on this exact route that have been doing this whole thing for so long that didn't go down. Like, maybe it's mine. Which kind of turns into this weird, like, delusions of grandeur thing.
Sure.
It's strange.
No, it's actually funny because I listened to that last weekend while I was on this little mini break.
Oh, yeah. So you and I probably listened to it around the same time.
I think at the same time.
Yeah.
And actually that same day, I listened to the Stephen Colbert interview with Mark Maron on WTF. Same thing. I didn't know. I just happened to listen to them on the same day, but they were both about anxiety. Stephen Colbert has a long history of very crippling panic attacks and anxiety.
Really?
Where he said,
I didn't know.
I didn't know either. And really interesting story. Yeah, how he started out. And a lot of these people, when they get on stage, that's when it kind of slips away. That's when they feel the best. And that's what has sort of made them, that's what has sort of turn them into the stars that they are, because they can't function otherwise. And Mark Maron's very similar. I mean, he has a whole story of he feels his best when he's on stage, and all the other time that he's not on stage, pre and post, he's fretting about everything. But there's something about being on stage that frees you. But I'm fascinated by it.
Although I think Bill Hader's point was, he knew that he was good at. You know, he could make people laugh. He, you know, in particular, was really good at impersonations.
Sure.
And, you know, kind of got into the job, you know, happenstance. But he was like tortured by doing it.
Totally. He was at first.
Like, even though he was good at it, you know, it was like, it was still something that, you know, he'd be like, oh my God, you know, like, I'm going to have a panic attack and, you know, whatever. And I don't know, it was just something that resonated with me a little bit because
me too.
I've never worked for Saturday Night Live. I should be so lucky, but
and he's such a real dude. Like, he just seems like a
oh my God, I mean, love
and
that
I really
guy.
like hearing the stories about, and we're talking too long about this, but we, you know, I loved hearing the stories about when they first started developing Barry, and like the idea they had was like had no legs, and they like were like, we don't have anything, and it just goes to show you that even, you know, you can come up with a show idea. I mean, it's not like you have to be Bill Hader to come up with a great show idea. I mean, he couldn't figure it out at first. It's normal to, like, you know, kind of, you know, shoot blanks. Anyway, I think it was an interesting thing because, you know, he does tell you the premise of what the show was, and it was like it didn't have much to it, and he admitted that, and it was, you know.
Yeah, no, he and his writing partner, whose name escapes me right now, but
Alec, I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that. Alex Ross, or no, I don't know. Jeez.
Well, sorry. We respect you, even though we don't remember your name right now. But no, he had even said that, you know, he was like, what about a hitman? Because Barry's, you know, that's the premise of the show. No spoilers. Alec Berg.
That was close.
Yes. And that was very Stefan of me. Yes. The hottest club. And have such a good day. But he was like, you know, what about a hitman? And his writing partner was like, ugh,
lame.
I don't want to do. I'm like,
it does sound lame.
Like that's not you.
I'll be honest.
And he was like, but that's the great thing, is that it isn't me. So we have to, like, that's our challenge, is to figure out how, like, we make me a protagonist who's like a hitman, who's also like a bad actor, but like wants to be one. I mean, it's genius.
It is when you put the two together, where he like goes to acting classes and stuff like that. It's much more interesting. But when I have to admit, when I first read the premise of the show when it came out, I was like, Hitman, come on. Like, it just felt really cliche. But the way they do it and they mesh all these different things, it works really well.
Oh, love Barry. One of my very favorite shows. I mean, up there with Game of Thrones in the last few years. Oh, it's so good.
Faux show.
So good.
So I have mentioned to some of you on our Discord that I have had a kind of a topsy-turvy time since I've been back in LA this last 3 years. Not that it hasn't been good, because there's been wonderful things that have happened, but I haven't been totally settled. And that is because I am a freelancer, and you jump from one contract to the next, and contracts can be a week long, can be 4 months long. You know, then you can be like, okay, cool, I can like chill for a minute. When you have a longer contract, you don't have to look for work. But it makes for a rocky existence. Some people thrive on it. And I think in some level, like maybe when I was a little younger, I thrived on it a little bit more. I think being older now, it is a little harder for me living this gypsy life. Jake Adams, Brenner, he goes by Brenner in our Discord. He's the one that mentioned that it's, he said, and I quote, "It's the gypsy life for you. Hope all is well moving." So it is true. I am moving again for the 5th time in 3 years.
Yeah.
And
in fact, part of the reason that we're shooting episode 50, for anybody who listens to our audio podcast, boy, you're missing out, because we might be on Heather's deck for the last time.
It's possible.
At least this deck.
Sad.
There might be other decks. I
hope so. And
many decks in the world, but not this deck.
No, and deck is very special. And hopefully a little bit down the road, I'll have another little outdoor area. But for now, I'm going to kind of, I'm going to couch surf a little bit. I'm going to live the life of a gypsy, which really freaks me out on a lot of levels. But like I said, back in the day, I might have not cared. It's exciting. It can be very exciting because I'm not stuck in something where it's like a ball and chain kind of situation. I am free to roam. So I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to embrace this gypsy life. I have signed a 3-month contract, which will probably go further, and it's a very exciting project. I can't talk about it right now. I'm under NDA, but I will mention it when I can, when it's released into the news.
Excellent.
But it's very cool, very creative, very up my alley. So, but thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting me. It is going to be a little wild in the coming months. Sarah and I are going to figure out where we're going to be shooting here on out. But stay tuned, and we'll let you know.
Absolutely. So, all right. So, moving on. In the past, we have talked about the Theranos story.
Oh, yes.
Elizabeth Holmes, the blood sample startup that wasn't, I'll just leave it at that. If you missed it, go back to a previous episode where we talked about it at length. However, and I actually don't know her. I had never used the product myself, so I only know it from a journalistic perspective. That said, pretty bad, pretty disgraced overall, right? Okay, so when I woke up this morning, I Heather and I were gonna shoot one of our shows. And I'm kind of just looking like, okay, well, like what has sort of come up in the news over, the last 24 hours that could be, just a little bit more sort of timely that we might want to put in here. And I took to Twitter, as I do, and there was a lot of snark about Elizabeth Holmes' hair. Elizabeth Holmes being the CEO of Theranos, the blood company that was disgraced. Okay, who was kind of weird in general for lots of other reasons, like she didn't blink, she changed her voice, she only wore like a black turtleneck a la Steve Jobs, like a lot of things about her were weird anyway. But some time has gone by. I mean, the story has waned, in the public sphere anyway.
It has.
And for example, I'm looking at an article from The Cut right now where the title is Elizabeth Holmes has pageant hair now. Huh? And it's a picture of her with, kind of hair that's been curled, right? Rather than like in a ponytail. Mm-hmm. And as somebody who, it's funny because and this is setting her everything else aside, as somebody who I have to be every single weekday on camera, whether or not I like try to look glam or not, I still have to look okay. Like hair is like a whole thing. Like, am I going to blow dry my hair every day of the week? Fuck no.
No, and you don't have a hairstylist like on set.
No,
like
I
a
work
lot of
from
people
home.
do.
Yeah, like most of the time it's going to be like ponytail or maybe a braid or maybe it's down or whatever. But like, sometimes it looks better than other days. And it's weird because of all the things that people could go after her for, like, what is this? What is the hair shaming?
It's funny. It's like, people, I think people just like need drama. They need something to just like bitch about, they need to roast somebody.
But it's just so, I mean, go after her for, did she, do you think that she hurt your family in some way by offering a service that wasn't actually what it, had set out to be? But like, it just, I don't know. Maybe it's my sort of, I don't know. It's just me being a woman and being beat down enough times. But there are things that I don't want to focus on. I don't care what her hair looks like. I don't care if she even has hair. Like no one's ever talked about her hair before. Why is this now a thing that people care about?
She's such a target. I mean, I feel like these people just become such targets for any kind of ridicule, and I think it's just something. Yeah, anyone in the spotlight just gets nitpicked. I mean, I think it's a pretty normal phenomenon. But I agree. Like, she's done way worse things than curl her hair to look like a pageant lady, so let's focus on like the stuff that matters.
Even saying that is like, that's like rude to pageant people. Like,
sure.
I don't know, like, do you know pageant people? Like, are they bad people? Probably not across the, like, just like, sometimes it just infuriates me. Like, if somebody says, Sarah, I don't like you because when you talk about Android, you are stupid and you say the wrong thing, and here are like, 4 things I can cite to like back up my argument, I'd be like, okay, I'm bummed out, but like that's pretty constructive criticism.
Yeah.
If someone says, Sarah, your hair is crazy, you changed it, like no one got an update, like
Does that ever happen?
No, but well, I mean, I don't know. People say weird things all the time, but those are the sorts of things that you just sort of like, you just flush out. Like, I don't listen to things like that because it's crazy.
It's just hurtful.
But why,
and
like articles being written about like somebody's hair is like, just indicative of a bigger problem.
For sure. And I think also people are like sort of maybe even jealous that she's in the spotlight and that all this stuff happened where maybe I don't know how she's getting off, if she's getting off in a small way. Maybe people are just sort of, lashing out at her because she doesn't have a big enough sentence. I don't know. But it is interesting.
I mean, we're not going to know about that sentence until next year. And it might be actually quite bad indeed. For now, I guess people just want to focus on stupid hair stuff. And maybe just because I got my hair done yesterday, I'm feeling bristly about it. But I don't know.
No pun intended.
I don't know. It bothers me.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like saying like, hey, it's like sucks that guy like assaulted those people, but like look at his manicure.
There's so many more important things to be concerned about. I agree. No, it's totally a pet peeve, and I get it. Sarah, I know you're going on a little mini break soon, and you're very excited, and you're going to be poolside for a few days. I was wondering.
Okay.
If you need a new swimsuit, I have a great suggestion.
Okay.
It's a one-piece LaCroix swimsuit.
So it's designed like the LaCroix
exactly
can.
Yes, so you can get a pamplemousse one, a lime one, a passion fruit one, the Pure, which is what I'm drinking,
That's
which
actually
doesn't have any, cran, raspberry, and lemon, and they're the suits are about $49.50, and they also have swim shorts that are selling for $39.50.
Is the company LaCroix selling the swimsuits?
No, it's a place called Public Space. I think it's an LA based brand, and this actually these came out in May, I think, for Memorial Weekend. I think they were pushing them. They're really cute actually, but it made me think of. The other day I was at the mall. I don't go to the mall very often, but I ended up popping into Forever 21. Sometimes it's amusing to see like what's going on with styles.
Sure.
There was literally like a corner of the space that was dedicated to a new kind of collaboration with Flamin' Hot Cheetos. So essentially this is like,
and that's Cheetos as in the Cheetos,
the super spicy hot ones. Yes.
Okay.
They have gotten a cult
status. Just wanted to make sure I understood.
Yeah, I know. I have a friend in particular, my friend Morgan. She is very obsessed with Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I think she still loves them. I think it's been a few years since I've seen her eat them, but I think she still does love them. But people are obsessed with Flamin' Hot Cheetos. So Forever 21 is doing a fashion collaboration with them. And this cult status. I mean, people. You've got Roy Choi, who's like a famous chef, who's done like a Flamin' Hot menu, like a pop-up thing.
With Cheetos as like an ingredient?
It was something like some kind of food, a dish that has like some Cheetos in it,
okay.
Or like a steak that's like a Cheeto steak. But a lot of people. This is funny. I actually didn't know this, but people are so obsessed with Flamin' Hot Cheetos. People have made like crazy things like blended Cheetos with vanilla ice cream like into like a shake, or like put them over like burritos, like whipped them up as like a sprinkles cupcake. But anyway,
I can't even with you.
This is a limited edition capsule collection, so you've got like bodysuits and sandals to match, and you got crop tops, and so I figure you're going to be laying poolside. I don't know, maybe you should go check it out, get some new threads. Show off the Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I don't like Cheetos. I'll just say that right now. Whether it's Cheetos or Flamin' Hot. You know what I don't like? I don't like the how it feels like air.
Yeah.
I just don't like Cheetos. I don't like Kit Kats for the same reason. Like there's just a certain consistency I don't like. Cheetos are in that camp. So whether they're flaming hot or not, I don't like them.
You know, I like cheese puffs, but I don't like the Cheetos because there's like red number 15 and yellow number 40 and like all these weird like that actually dissuades me from eating those.
See, I don't really care about that because I treat my body like a garbage receptacle. But I do. I know what I like. I know what I don't like, and I don't like Cheetos. I like Fritos, but that's a whole different thing.
That is a totally. And you like Cheez-Its. We know that. Mm-hmm. But you know, this food fashion thing is kind of ridiculous. I wonder what has created this phenomenon. You know, like brands. There's certain brands that are so cutesy that people want clothes with the logos, and I mean, it's not like we haven't had this before. But like Cheetos, I mean, come on, like as like a high fashion thing is pretty funny.
I do think that you know, when you mentioned our friend Morgan, who's like a Cheetos fan, it's like there are definitely things like so, and I've talked about this on a previous show. I'm very pro Wheat Thin. Mm-hmm. I think Wheat Thins are the perfect cracker.
You'd wear a Wheat Thins t-shirt, maybe.
There is no better cracker. I love Wheat Thins. A box of Wheat Thins is in my cupboard at all times, and if it isn't, I'm doing something wrong. I don't think I would wear anything that was like,
yeah, maybe not,
Wheat Thin girl. Like I just don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I just want to eat them.
It's a weird advertisement.
I just want to eat them.
Yeah, I agree.
With some sharp cheddar.
Maybe you can, like, I don't know. Would you want to be a Wheat Thin spokeswoman?
No. I just want to eat them.
You want to eat them in the privacy of your home. No one needs to know.
No, I don't need to wear a T-shirt about it. Like, I know it, and why do I need to like spread the gospel? Like, yeah, like if Nabisco, I guess, was paying me to spread the gospel for Wheat Thins, all right, but let's talk. Like,
you'd be a Wheat Thins influencer.
What are we talking about? Yeah, like do I like post Instagrams and then at the end is like #ad?
You're like lounging like in your princess pants, like eating Wheat Thins at home.
Hey, just eating Wheat Thins totally spontaneously. I just really like them. #ad.
Oh God.
No.
Boy.
Listen, if I ever do that, forgive me. I feel like I don't want to do that now, but
I don't think you will.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what we do want to do? We want to thank our patrons.
We sure do. Every day.
All day, every day, morning, noon, and night. Patreon.com/have such a good day is where you can find out more about how you can be one of our patrons at a variety of levels, starting at just $1 per month. All sorts of goodies, and they go up from there. So,
and we got a goal of we really want to get to 2 shows a week. That's our biggest goal, and I think our only goal right now. It's kind of our focus. So help us get there, and get more content every single week. I wanted to shout out to a few new YouTubers. We got Albert Barajas. Mm-hmm. Scott Perino.
Hi, Scott.
And Marvin Wade, which I've seen the name Marvin Wade before. I wonder if he might have been a patron at one point, or maybe he still is. Hi, guys, and welcome to our world.
Really glad to have you. Thank you very much for being part of the show, because you're a part of it as much as we are. And in fact, the more feedback we get, the better we can
service you. I guess.
That sounds a little salacious. That's how Heather will service you.
We will help service you have a better day.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of ads on the internet. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
hate them.
Yeah, I hate them
Worst.
too. Yes. Absolute worst.
They pop up all over the place.
Right.
You can't even read the article. It's infuriating.
Everything ad sucks. I mean, you feel that way about television commercials. I don't subscribe to cable anymore, so everything I watch is on demand. So it's funny, like people will complain about commercials, and I'm like, I haven't even seen it. I don't even know what commercial you're talking about.
I always spend more when I get like subscriptions to stuff for the ad-free version. I don't care. I'll pay $3 more a month or whatever it is.
Sure.
I don't want my narrative to be broken up by an ad.
Yeah. So and I think even people who deal with commercials and, deal with advertising all over the place every day of their lives, like no one's like, no, it's great. It just sort of something you get used to. And it's funny because I remember I was in a relationship, this is years ago, 5-6 years ago, and I was sort of, I had been a subscriber of cable TV, and I like to watch a lot of trash TV. I do. And I don't care what anybody thinks about it, but that comes with commercials. If like I'm watching the Bravo channel, like every 5 seconds there's like a commercial break, and he was like, I can't deal with this, Sarah. Like, I cannot deal with this. We have to like cut the cord. And that was actually the point where I did. And I, at the time I remember being like, I don't know. I just want my cable. Like, I want my channels. I just want everything to be there. Like, this is going to be really hard. And it wasn't. It was actually the best thing I ever did. And now I realize how much garbage I was actually just taking in because I was, it's just sort of on in the background type thing. And like I said, I am not above bad television. I am the bad television queen. But it's not advertisement stuff. I mean, unless it's native advertisement, which is a whole different story. But no. So it's funny because I've been kind of thinking about this whole idea of, let's say that you go, you see, okay, so this exactly happened to me on Instagram. I was, I got served up an ad. I think it was like my dog's Instagram account, right? So it wasn't even like my primary, but he has a decent amount of followers, and it was like an ad for some like linen sheets. Well, I happen to really like linen sheets, like they're my sheets of choice. So I was like, slightly weird that like they knew that about me. Like I don't remember like proclaiming that anywhere, but like it's kind of true. So I like clicked through to Brooklinen, which is something that you see around the internet a lot, and I didn't buy anything, and because I was sort of like, well, yeah, I don't know, like my sheets are fine right now. It's I'll just think of this for a later time. All I get served is Brooklinen everywhere I go on the internet. Every single ad space is this company. I've already like turned off email notifications from them because that was happening where I'm like, blocked and reported, get out of here, like you're spam. Fine. But it is now like it is permeating my life.
It's crazy because I remember when you bought those sheets, it was a big thing. But I mean, you were doing research, I'm sure, on you might have Googled best linen sheets or whatever. But like that was a while ago. I can't believe you're still getting them.
No, it's not. It's not even because of that. It's because an ad was served to me on Instagram. Instagram owned by Facebook. I clicked on it to see it, like, because it was something like 40% off or something, you know, where you're like, oh, let's click and like see what the deal is. And then I just never, like, I never sealed the deal. But that data is all now part of my entire life online because Facebook is everywhere.
It's nuts.
And so every time I do anything online, it's like anytime there's like a little ad space, and yes, I understand I could use a browser where I could, you know, I could get rid of that stuff, but I don't know. I have a certain way that I go about things, and I don't really want to change them. So Brooklinen is now part of my life. And it's funny because I didn't even buy the damn sheets.
I can't believe that. I mean, it's like you have nothing else in the little squares.
Well,
I have like a variety of things.
There's other things, but I mean that comes up, you know, 80% of the time.
It's actually funny because I get often the very, very the most bizarre shoes you can imagine in mine, and if I look for any shoes online, it's like sneakers that are just like normal.
Right.
Like I get like the weirdest, like I'm like, what are these? They're like kind of haute couture, like they have like a, you know, they're like elf, you know, shoes with the little tip that turns up, like, but they're like fashionable. I'm like, why am I getting this ad? This is so strange. I mean, who knows? That's a trip. But, you know, it's funny. You know, we often talk about, you know, stupid little errands like getting your car washed or whatever. The other day, I'm really bad about doing it because it's kind of a pain just because it takes some, often
your car looks very clean when I
walked
walked in today.
I did it yesterday.
Okay.
Tried a new place that was actually the one where you drive through, which was really fun. I actually shot a little time lapse I might share with you guys. I didn't shoot it that well, so I may or may not share it. But I'm not really a DP, director of photography. That is, I'm more of a producer. So, but anyway, so it was really fun going through that. And they had the self-serve vacuums, which is different. Usually they vacuum for you, but then they give you a free option to kind of pull in and vacuum yourself. It was a fun experience, but it took a little bit of time. And I thought, God, I remember back in the day that I used to wash my car in my mom's driveway. I'd get a bucket of soap and just go out there and do it. And it was like I've said in a previous show, it's a little more work than meets the eye, because you want to make sure you get it dry at the right time, or things that get spots and whatever. So I came across this article in the New York Times that is basically saying that definitely go get your car washed. It's a lot worse for the environment and takes a lot more water to do it yourself. And I thought that was interesting. Something so mundane and so, you wouldn't, maybe we just don't take the time to really think it through. So basically, the thing about it is, the one I went to yesterday, they recycle the water. And a lot of them will say that. I'm not sure if they all do. But a lot of these kind of, self-service car stations, they limit you to a certain amount of gallons of water. Pretty standard is 17 or 18 gallons. But most of the full service stations averaged between 30 and 45. So essentially, if you go in and you're gonna wash your own car at a self-service one where you have to do it yourself, you get less water. And this is from a study by the International Car Wash Association, which I didn't even know exists, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, so a lot of these car washes recycle and reuse water. They have the high pressure nozzles that you basically can get rid of dirt quicker, as opposed to a garden hose, which doesn't have as much pressure. It might be a little harder to you use a lot more water because you're trying to clean a lot of surface area. Anyway, the biggest reason though is to prevent pollution. I think this is fascinating. When you wash your car at home, all of the dirt and oil and the fluids from your engine and chlorides and chemicals from the soap run into a storm drain in nearby rivers and lakes. Something so obvious that a lot of people probably haven't thought about. And again, a lot of these car wash businesses do collect the water that they use, and they get it treated in a water treatment plant. I just thought it was kind of fascinating. But so now I'm feeling a little bit better about car washes, because I always thought they were a little, I don't know, I felt almost somewhat
indulgent,
guilty. Yeah, a little indulgent. I mean, they're not too expensive. I mean, I paid $13 for mine. I even got a wax. It was a really good deal. But at the same time, I'm always thinking a
lot more for the last car wash I got.
Yeah, I mean, they do try to get you on a lot of things, but anyway, so think twice if you are considering washing your car in your front yard or in your driveway, and go stand in line at a local car wash. I thought you would appreciate that, Sarah.
Yeah. I haven't been to the car wash since the time that it took a couple of hours for them to wash my car, even though they did a really good job. So I don't know. I'm going on a road trip soon. I'm kind of trying to figure out, do I wash it before I go? So we start out really nice and clean, or do I know that it's going to get there's going to be so many bugs on the,
Oh, you should have seen mine. I mean, it was
bad.
At
the beginning, do I maybe just
I wouldn't wash it before.
Wash it when we're done with the whole thing? I don't know. I got a dog, and he's dirty too.
I just didn't wash it at all. I waited a week after my trip, and I mean, I think I was a little worried that sometimes the bugs and the bird poop and that kind of thing can ruin your paint. So anyway, moving on. If you guys have an opinion about this, please email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
Absolument. Havesuchagoodday.com is our website. As Heather mentioned, please email us early and often.
Please do.
And patreon.com/havesuchagoodday is where you can be part of our community and help us make our show the best it can be. Help it grow.
We need you.
Week after week. We do. We need you. I mean, we are not an island.
We are not. And we had a great little note from For Life TV. He or she says, another great show. I do enjoy and think others do as well when both you and Heather talk about the trials of working for yourself. It gives gives clarity and inspiration for the rest of us who do that as well. In one of your upcoming shows, could you please talk about the disappointment of when sometimes family and friends don't always support you in your ventures? Keep rocking it, ladies. And this is actually leading us to our bonus topic for today's episode. For Life TV, thank you for pitching a cool idea. And please, we need more bonus topic ideas. Please email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
Absolutely. Well, I guess at this point, we'll just go ahead and say for $5 and up patrons, $5 balls as you're known, we will continue this conversation. For everybody else, we'll continue a new conversation next week.
In a matter of a few days. But we'll miss you. We'll miss you.
We
and
will.
We'll see you very soon. Thank
will.
you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thanks for spreading the word. Thanks for leaving us nice iTunes reviews. And all the support that you all give us
Brings us happiness.
It really does. Man, whoever your neighbor is a very good cook. Boy, does it smell good.
I'd like to be lunch yet.
I'd like to be invited in for lunch. All right, everybody. $5 balls. Stick around. Everybody else, thanks for watching and listening. See you next week. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Heather.
And have such a good day.